All right, let's jump right in. We're going to explore a topic that's pretty central to, well, just about everything: leadership, faith, and life itself. And that topic is stewardship, but probably not in the way you've been taught to think about it.
You know, when most of us hear the word stewardship, our brains kind of automatically go to one place, right? Spreadsheets, budgets, managing resources, that whole corporate vibe. And look, that's not wrong. It's definitely part of the picture.
But what if that's just scratching the surface? What if stewardship isn't really about managing things at all, but about being plugged into a living, breathing system that's designed to distribute life and grace and real wisdom?
And that is exactly where we're headed. We're going to see how the scriptures paint a picture of a divine stewardship that goes way, way beyond the boardroom and actually gives this incredible eternal meaning to the work we do every single day. So what's really fascinating is where the word itself comes from. Stewardship in the Bible comes from the Greek word oikonomia. Now get this, that's the exact same root for our word economy. It literally means the management of a household. So biblically, stewardship is all about how God runs His household, His entire creation. And this really sets up the fundamental choice we all have to make. We can either operate in the world's economy, which, let's be honest, is so often driven by profit and pride, or we can plug into God's economy. And His economy runs on a totally different currency: life and love. So how does God's economy actually work? Well, it's a living system. He's not looking for employees. He's looking for living stewards. The idea is that He dispenses His own life, His character, His grace into people so that they can become channels, like living pipelines of His supply to everyone around them. Okay, so what does this actually look like in real life? Let's check out the pattern we see from the Apostle Paul. In his letters, he gives us this really clear blueprint for how this divine stewardship is supposed to function. Right here in Ephesians, Paul just lays it all out. But I want you to notice that critical phrase at the end, given to me for you. That's not just a nice little platitude. That is the operating principle for God's entire economy. So here's the absolute bottom line. Anything we receive from God was never, ever meant to just stop with us. We're not supposed to be warehouses, designed to hoard blessings or talents or grace. We're supposed to be distributors. Our role is to be a channel, making sure that the supply keeps moving on to other people. Leadership, in this sense, isn't about control. It's about distribution.
Okay, so if we're meant to be distributors, what's the product? What exactly is the content of this whole divine stewardship thing?
Well, Paul gives us the answer over in Colossians. He says the whole point of his stewardship was to complete the Word of God. Now, that doesn't just mean finishing a book. It means bringing God's ultimate purpose to life, into its full expression.
See, the gospel isn't just a set of rules or a doctrine. It's a person, Christ Himself. He is the content. So our stewardship, our life's work, is about making Him known, not just with our words, but with our actions. Every decision we make, every single interaction we have, it either reveals Him or it hides Him.
Now, you might be listening to all this and thinking, okay, that sounds like a big job for apostles or pastors. But the Bible is super clear that this is a shared role. This is for every single one of us.
And here's the Apostle Peter just leveling the playing field completely. Each one, he says, has received a gift. We are all called to be good stewards of the varied grace of God.
So stewardship isn't just for the person with the fancy title. And notice that word, varied. God's grace isn't some one-size-fits-all thing. In the source material, one of the guys, Troy, is a really skilled woodworker. That talent, that's a manifestation of God's varied grace, just as much as a caregiver's compassion is or a leader's wisdom.
Let me tell you a quick story from the source that just makes this so real. One of the men shared about a nun in his community. She visits people who are homebound, and on her own tiny little stipend, she brings them coffee or small treats, just these little moments of comfort and connection.
Well, when he tried to give her some money to help out, she was grateful, of course, but her response, wow, it just perfectly captured the soul of what stewardship is. She said, "You don't have to thank me, I'm just redistributing God's money." She got it. She understood that everything she had, her time, her compassion, her money, it was all a divine trust meant to flow through her to others.
And really, that just brings everything into perfect focus, doesn't it? Every single day, we stand at a crossroads with a choice between these two economies.
The Christian life, the life of a true steward, It's really just this simple three-step flow. We receive from God, we experience His grace and His life for ourselves, and then we distribute it to others. It has to keep moving. The moment we stop transmitting, the flow stops, and we just become a dead end.
I love this quote from the source material. It just sums up the whole idea so perfectly. Leadership isn't about building a fortress to protect our own power or our position. It's about being a conduit for a divine flow of grace and wisdom and life.
So let's end with this powerful question that was posed in that fellowship meeting. It's really a call for some honest self-reflection for every one of us. If a complete stranger just watched your life for 24 hours, how you work, how you talk to people, how you handle your money, would they see the evidence? Would they have any idea that you're a steward operating in God's economy?